Also from Washington is President Trump's former deputy assistant, Dr. Sebastian Gorka. He also recently been appointed to the National Security Education Board. Hello to you, Doctor. Thank you for joining us on the programme this morning. How important is the Keystone State to both candidates?
Pivotal. Pennsylvania is absolutely pivotal, along with other states like Florida. But I think the president's doing very, very well in both of them. His rally last night, his last rally in Pennsylvania, saw 57,000 people in attendance. So it's crucial, but things are heading in the right direction for the incumbent.
It's a bit of a challenge as far as postal voting is concerned, though, isn't it? And the president is not very happy about that. Perhaps you could talk to us in a bit more detail about that for our viewers back in the United Kingdom.
Yes, he's pointed out that this is an absolutely outrageous idea that Democrat governors have sent out unbidden more than 70,000 mail-in ballots. So we have in America, I've used it before, the absentee voting system, whereby if you're out of state, if you're traveling, if you can't make it to the polling station, you can formally request that your ballot be sent to you and then you mail it back. But what we're talking about is not the absentee voting, but the automatic sending out of millions and millions and millions of mail-in ballots, in many cases duplicates, in many cases erroneously sent to the former addresses of people who've moved out of the state. And America doesn't have the capacity to count tens of millions of votes on election day. Your package from Pennsylvania was very accurate. So this is an attempt to undermine the election by Democrat Party and Democrat governors. And that's why the securest thing you can do is do what I did. Go and vote in person. That is the safe. If you can go to Safeway to buy your groceries, which you can do, then there is nothing to stop you from going to vote at the polling station.
You talk about Democrat politicians, but of course Republican judges have decided that this is lawful.
No, they haven't. Not in every case. That's incorrect. If you look at some of the recent Supreme Court decisions, they've said that certain of these new decisions are actually not good, they're not sound, such as the extension. Certain states wanted to extend for several weeks the window for counting the ballots, which is outrageous. We used to have a thing called Election Day, which is the day that Americans choose their president. The idea that now we stretch it for 2 or 3 weeks is absurd. So no, and when you have the Democrat governors, for example, in Virginia, Ralph Northam, say that now suddenly you don't have to verify the signature on the mail-in ballot against the signature on the voter rolls. What is the good faith argument for that, if not some attempt to rig the election? Why would you not want to verify the signature? So lots of very shady things going on, and the president's right. If you want to make sure that your vote is secure, go to the polling stations starting this morning and vote in person.
Who do you think is trying to rig the election?
Oh, clearly the Democrats. They have no candidate worthy of mention. Biden is clearly senile. His party has been taken over by radicals who want to ram down our throats socialist concepts like the Green New Deal that would do away with fossil fuels, has actually said that the eating of beef is a bad thing. This is a party out of control. The former Democrat Party of people like John F. Kennedy or Scoop Jackson is dead. It's a very, very sad day to recognize the Democrat Party of your fathers or your grandfathers is long gone, is dead and buried. So those who think that they are in trouble because of this incompetent, senile old man are trying to steal the election. So it's a sad day, but as long as Americans go to the polls in person, the president will win.
However, the president, some might say, is potentially inciting violence by some of his comments on Twitter. We were sharing one of his tweets with our viewers a little bit earlier on, and he was saying that he was anxious about violence on the streets in Pennsylvania, and he thought that voting in the way that you have described was dangerous. This is what he has said on Twitter. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but for the benefit of our viewers who can't, the Supreme Court decision on voting in Pennsylvania is a very dangerous one. It will allow rampant and unchecked cheating and will undermine our entire system of laws. It will also induce violence in the street, something must be done. Is that a particularly presidential tweet?
Absolutely, and he is completely correct. I'm not sure how being concerned about violence is an incitement to violence. That's a very perverse way of looking at things, especially after the last 10 months, when it is left-wing Democrat voters from Portland to Seattle to Baltimore to D.C. that have created arson, havoc, and looting to the cost of more than $3 billion to small business owners. So, the reason that D.C. is boarded up, walk down D.C. today, Kay, and look at the shops that have been boarded up. It looks like Beirut. And why are shop owners painting on the chipboard that has boarded up their shops Black Lives Matter, if not to placate the radical left? It's not the Trump supporters that are going
maybe it's
to
because they think
down.
that Black Lives Matter.
No, it's because they want to make sure that they're not the ones who have their shops burned to the ground. Come on, show a bit of common sense, please.
Okay.
If it were Trump supporters that were the threat, they'd be saying MAGA on the shop fronts, and they're not. So the violence has been normalized by the left, and it is a disgrace.
Okay, what about Trump telling the far-right group, the Proud Boys, to stand back and stand by? How should we interpret that?
Exactly as he said it. Don't take action.
But to stand by?
Stand back, stand down, stand by, and wait.
No, I didn't say stand down. He said stand by, didn't he? Stand by means
do you know what the Proud Boys are, Kay Burley? Can you tell me what they are?
Tell me about it. Tell me what they mean to you.
No, you tell me. No, you tell me.
No, I'm the interviewer. You tell me what they mean to you.
You raised it. So tell me why you're asking me.
I'm asking you because it's a far-right organisation, as far as I am aware.
Incorrect.
And they are...
Do you know who runs the Proud Boys? Do you know who runs the Proud Boys?
I'm completely ignorant of them. Please tell me all about them.
Well, that's a real indictment of Sky News, that you are ignorant about the organisation you are asking me to comment on live. The Proud Boys is run by a black Cuban American. So how would that be far-right?
Okay, so you don't feel that they are a far-right organisation?
A far-right organisation wouldn't be run by a black Cuban American now, would it, Kay?
I don't know, and I'm glad that you offered me your view on that. I'm sure that my viewers will make their views on what you're telling us this morning.
I'm sure they will.
What are your predictions on how the night might play out?
I think there will be a very, very large upset for the mainstream media, for the so-called elite in Washington, D.C., for the swamp, for the Democrat Party. I think we will see a turnout the likes of which we've not seen before. And I think it's going to be echoes of 2016, when we were told by everybody in the mainstream media, from the New York Times to the Huffington Post to the BBC, that Hillary's got it in the bag. I still have saved the tweet from October 2016 when the New York Times said Hillary has a 91% chance of winning. I've still saved the Huffington Post tweet from the night of the election when they tweeted out that the president, the then candidate, has a 2% chance of winning. So I think we're seeing 2016 redux. The real shame is that just as in the last 4 years, I expect the Democrats not to recognize the will of the American people. So hold on tight, buckle up, because the Democrats do not want to recognize the will of the American people, should they, God willing, choose my boss, Donald Trump, to be their president for the next 4 years.
I wonder how you feel about a few big-name Republicans who are openly supporting Joe Biden this time. I've got a list. Former Ohio Governor John Kasich, John McCain's widow.
It's pronounced Kasich, and none of the people who have come... None of the
people
who have come out... Can I continue with the
list?
You may, but they're not big names if you can't pronounce them. But carry on.
John McCain's widow, Cindy. She's quite a big name, isn't she?
Not in politics, she isn't. And her husband betrayed the president on Obamacare, but carry on.
Anthony Scaramucci?
A big Republican. Are you kidding me? The patient zero for Trump derangement syndrome.
Did he work in the White House?
He's not a Republican. He was a trader on Wall Street.
Okay. He did work in the White House for the president.
So what?
Didn't he?
Doesn't make him a big Republican. He's a clown. Anthony Scaramucci is an utter clown.
Okay. Okay. So how do you expect events to develop? As I said, obviously we're not expecting a result tonight because of these mail-in ballots that you and the president are not particularly happy about. It could take several days, or we may even see that it takes until a month or so, like we saw back in 2000, or not. What's your prediction, sir?
Well, as I said about 3 minutes ago, I expect an absolute landslide for the president. I expect pivotal states such as Pennsylvania and Florida to be called for the president tomorrow evening. And when he gets close to the 270 electoral college votes that he needs for that clear mandate, I expect him to come out from the White House and to make an acceptance speech and wait for Biden's concession speech, which I think, like last time, will not come, because the Democrats refuse to recognize the will of the American people, and then it might have to go to the courts. But I think by the early hours of tomorrow, there will be a decision. There will be such a result, such a magnitude of a positive tidal wave for the president, that the future of his second term will be incontrovertible.
Okay. It's good to talk to you, Doctor. Thank you for joining us on the programme this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate.
Ali Bunkle is with us.
The challenge for Donald Trump is such that I wouldn't agree with your guest there that by tomorrow night, as in tonight UK time, we will see an incontrovertible wave in support for